President Trump has been indicted. A Fox News alert for you there. The indictment has happened, and
today, an indictment was unsealed, charging Donald J. Trump.
That was Special Counsel Jack Smith, who looked like a bedraggled, nervous wreck, dripping with anger and highly emotional. This is overkill. This is political germ warfare.
Trump said nothing and did nothing to trigger any criminal charge on January 6th. Any.
Sean, this indictment is the legal equivalent of the French guillotine, the reign of terror. This is a mob mentality to take out Donald Trump.
First point, they said the defendant impaired the federal government from functioning. Isn't that literally the Republican Party platform?
Who resists DOJ on any level, on any policy matter whatsoever. Free speech will not survive if this indictment succeeds.
A political war crime.
And now they're indicting a former president of the United States to protect Biden and the entire D.C. establishment from scrutiny.
It's an atrocity. Enough is enough.
In case you're wondering, they're taking it really well.
He still believes the election was stolen, and he has good cause to believe so.
The president lied about election fraud and knew there was no fraud. If this goes to trial, are we going to now have to go back and find fraud in the 2020 election? Is this now what we're going to go relitigate?
You hear that, Dominion? That sounds like another payday.
Got him. We fucking got him.
As Jack Smith delivered news today on Trump's indictment relating to January 6th, there were those who both acknowledged the importance of upholding the ideal that nobody, regardless of class or stature, is above the law, something that Donald Trump has been able to sidestep his entire life as a one-percenter.
Today, an indictment was unsealed, charging Donald J. Trump with conspiring to defraud the United States, conspiring to disenfranchise voters, and conspiring and attempting to obstruct an official proceeding. The attack on our nation's capital on January 6th, 2021 was an unprecedented assault on the seat of American democracy. As described in the indictment, it was fueled by lies. Lies by the defendant targeted at obstructing a bedrock function of the U.S. government, the nation's process of collecting, counting, and certifying the results of the presidential election.
We have the indictment here. There are 4 counts. Count 1, conspiracy to defraud the United States. Count 2, conspiracy to obstruct an official proceeding. Count 3, obstruction of an attempt to obstruct an official proceeding. And count 4, conspiracy against rights.
And then there was Fox News. If I was Dominion, I'd watch with a knife and fork.
Trump has been indicted. A Fox News alert for you there. The indictment has happened.
And now, I mean, what politics is, it's lawyers versus lawyers.
Yeah.
This is what politics is now. There's no, I don't even know, you don't need pollsters anymore. You don't need anybody. You don't need votes. Just put the lawyers against the lawyers. So now you hope your team, Republicans or Democrats, have the best lawyers so they can go after the other guy. But it feels like the Republicans don't.
Political war crimes have been perpetrated on him. Donald Trump is in the best position he's been in so far to win re-election. Can you believe that? At which point he'll have to pardon himself immediately. And don't you think for a second he's not going to unleash hell on all of his political enemies. This is only the beginning of politicians putting other politicians and their families in prison.
Trump said nothing and did nothing to trigger any criminal charge on January 6th. Any. His crime was believing and saying that the election was rigged. That's what they want to send him to jail for. Now, excuse me. How is that any different from when the Democrats complained that things were rigged in 2016?
This was political. This would be like a political war crime. This is overkill. This is political germ warfare. These are political war crimes. It's an atrocity. It's like not just dropping one atomic bomb. You drop 15 dozen, Jessica. Enough is enough. This is the establishment terrified of Donald Trump's reelection because of all the money that's going to dry up and all the influence. And you know what? They're terrified of the payback. And that's what this is about. And what happens if you trigger a re-election by Donald Trump and he gets in there? You think he's not going to go after the Bidens he might go after Dr. Jill at this point. After you've been rummaging through Melania's underwear drawer, turning his life upside down, payback is going to be a you-know-what, and you guys started.
I mean, I can only imagine what an earful Jesse's mom will be giving him after this. I do want to circle back on one point, mate. As a staunch supporter of the party of law and order, I'm wondering, is this your best defense?
Now, I know this doesn't count in a court of law, but do you think Trump had any idea that he was breaking the law when he was asking Mike Pence not to certify? And how are you going to prove that Trump knew there wasn't any election fraud? And how are you going to prove that these were corrupt intentions if Trump thought he was doing the righteous thing? You can't.
Is your best defense of Trump really that, well, laws are a wee bit tricky, so how is he supposed to know what is and isn't allowed? And judging by the response across the board on the Murdoch network, seems like they're almost afraid, doesn't it? Like they've already conceded to a conviction.
Some incredibly important facts that have come out about the January 6th case. Steve Bannon is on tape talking before the election about how they're going to act as if Trump won it before he even knows what's going to happen. You have Peter Navarro, who goes on TV bragging about this. He even wrote a book about how Steve Bannon has orchestrated the whole thing, and it's like a football team, and that he's the quarterback. I think they were the Green Bay Packers. I guess maybe he's from there. That's disturbing. And deprivation of rights is about nullifying people's constitutional right to be able to vote and have their vote counted. And this idea of minimizing January 6th down to Code Pink screaming about abortion rights or whatever in the atrium and what happened on January 6th is not going to fly with a majority of Americans.
Well, so indulge the FBI. The FBI deprived people of rights when they covered up the laptop, or the CIA.
What are you?
Who finagled the laptop? You know what I'm talking about.
No,
that's corruption before the election, and that denies people the rights.
Having a story, a New York Post story, taken down for 24 hours, and what happened on January 6th are so utterly incomparable. I'm actually shocked at you.
Would it change the election?
I expect your mother will text me.
You're not shocked.
If you thought launching fact-free falsities into the ether, hoping that one sticks and doesn't result in another lawsuit, was the way to deal with today's news, I give you another way of grieving. Take it away, Marge.
Going to be soon indicting President Trump in Washington, D.C. And it's going to be something like we've never seen before. I think it's going to truly put not only President Trump and his family, all of his staff, put them to a test they've never been tested on, but it's also going to test our nation. And it's something that I've prayed about a lot, and it's just sad to me. Jack Smith, he's a terrible attorney. He has a lot of failures in his career, but he is abusing his power, the power of the special counsel and the Department of Justice. And
then carrying on from his 0 for 10 record on Hunter Biden, James Comer got in on the act.
So prosecutors claim in the indictment that for the 2 months after the election of 2020, Trump spread lies to create an intense national atmosphere of mistrust and anger and erode public faith in the administration of the election. Well, the Biden administration does nothing but spread lies and distrust in public institutions. I mean, that's what they do on a daily basis.
I feel like someone broke into our notes on the Oversight Committee and plagiarized them. Only they put them down for Donald Trump instead of Joe Biden. I mean, it's a joke. It's an absolute joke. The damage that Joe Biden has done to our system of government is irreparable. And Americans have no confidence in the Department of Justice. They have no confidence in the FBI. They're losing confidence every day in the entire government, and that's not a good thing. They have no confidence in the IRS. I mean, we've got to change that. And all that Joe Biden's doing every day and Merrick Garland every day is making a bad situation worse. They don't care. They just want to win. They want to have self-preservation. That's the ultimate goal for the deep state bureaucracy in Washington, D.C., and that's self-preservation. And Donald Trump stands in the way of their self-preservation.
Rounding out a night of utter nonsense on Fox News. I wonder what tomorrow will bring.
Hey Midas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.